And salam alaikum, Technicals here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. If you're new to the channel or uninitiated, I do 3D printing here at home for cool things to enrich my life, fix stuff around the house, and sell on the internet. So what am I working on today? Well, if you've been following my channel, you know that my #1 selling product, which I'm trying to really milk out as much content as I can from, are the hornet nests. And as you see in that opening sort of reel thing, they've been flying off the shelves, and I suspect it's because it's the time of year when hornets are making their nests. The fake hornet nests, the decoy nests, they tend to deter other wasps, hornets, flying stingy insect thingies from making their nests nearby, and so people get them, put them up, keep wasps away. I use them here at my house, and so people have been buying those pretty good. That's the newest design, courtesy of a very kind subscriber. Thank you again for that upgraded design. Fits into a smaller box, cheaper to ship. So I've been selling quite a lot of those, and that's what really my 2 bamboos have been tasked on completely and totally. I should probably get another one going because I sold another 2. I found out when I woke up. How do I do another reprint? I'll do it from the computer. A1's easy to operate. The P1P's got that 1985 LCD screen, so it's kind of a little harder to figure out. As far as the other printers go, I've got some changes in mind for the farm, but let's start with Big Bertha. And of course, I am not fat shaming by saying Big Bertha because I am not the type of person who would say any type of comment like that. The Orange Storm Giga, if you've been following the channel, you know I've been having loads of issues with it. I ordered a new print head, the whole unit, $80, but just kind of running through the mechanics of it, and again, not being a 3D print genius or anything, whatever the problem is with performance is going to be isolated to the print head. I don't see any way around it because everything else, some prints perform and they always seem to be like extrusion related. The clicking sound, the fact that it's been the only print head that I've run through at this point, I'm gonna try it because that to me is kind of an easy, fast fix. Try that out, and if that doesn't work, then I can safely determine that the problem's in the software or one of the Z motors or something like that. Additionally, it gives me time to work on the original print head down here to kind of suss out and see what maybe their issue is in there, so I have a backup. And so if you remember from last time, I was trying to print this big wall art thing, this Darth Vader thing. This came off of bamboo, so it looks good. Ton of wall loops, ton of filament. And so I thought, well, let's try it on the Giga, let's try it on the Giga before we change everything out with 1 wall loop, just to try to bring those filament costs down. Because again, you know, I used to say back in the day, like, oh, filament's cheap, who cares? And then I got the Orange Storm Giga, and then when things start failing on the Giga, it's like, you know, each failure is $20, $30, $40, $50, $60. That shit adds up. YouTube ain't paying that good. So I did a 1 wall loop Vader here. Now at a distance, you're like, oh, okay, but it's just teeny tiny. I want a big one. And that's gonna be like 8, 9, 10 kilos of filament. So 1 wall loop, you can see it's not nearly as rigid. This is Vader, Ozempic Vader. I cracked myself up. The surface finish sucks. I'm looking at it, very stringy, very layer lining. And the top surface finish, if these surfaces were any wider than like, I don't know, 5 millimeters or whatever that is, I think it would struggle really badly. I also cut the bottom off. I had some pull away that I noticed here. It's kind of lifting a little bit. You can kind of tell the planer. It's kind of lifting on the edges. The brim's not aggressive enough. So this was just kind of a test print, and it's destined for, where's it destined for? Straight into the ocean. This one, maybe this one's destined for the stores, the nice bamboo example. Up here, camera guy. So anyway, on the Giga yesterday, I got some B-roll here. This is just B-roll of me pulling off the failure. My gate project, my big emblem that I want to put on my driveway gates, I was like, let's try that because the Vader's done, and the test that I was doing for the driveway emblem wasn't going to take a lot of filament. Maybe, I think it was all in like 2 kilos. And it was low enough to where I was confident that it was going to be able to get through on the print without any issue. As you can see here, the Z distance just decided that, nah, all your adjustments that you put in, I'm gonna ignore those for now. So the Z distance needs some love. The extruder, the replacement print head arrives today. So I'm not gonna put anything through on the Giga. I'm gonna put the new print head in. I'm gonna do a re-leveling. I don't know if I'm gonna do a readjustment of the beds itself. I'm gonna do a re-leveling, remeshing, and adjust from there. Kind of start anew, start afresh. I'll check for firmware updates, but I doubt there are any. That's what's going on with the Giga, but the driveway gate's probably the next big thing I'm looking at. The other thing too, the Soval, the Cobras, here. I haven't used those in weeks. And it made me start thinking, like, I'm not using the Cobras at all, and the Flashforge 85M Pro, if you saw the last vlog, I was singing its praises, and it puts out great quality, and I'd really like it to be in here because I'd like to, as you know, a printer that I like, I use, and I would recommend, and again, they didn't pay for this, it just, the printer works in my experience. I'd like it to be featured because I'm doing most of my videos in here. Cobras, I could care less if anyone knows I run a Cobra. I use them for big stuff, and I still want to keep them, obviously. So I think my plan is to, in the coming weeks or something like that, kind of do another refresh of my printers here. Maybe remove 1 or 2 Cobras, slot in the Flashforge, slot in the S1 Pro, because that's just an impressive ass printer. I thought about selling some of these, but I was looking at like the resale prices on, like, say, the Soval or the T1 Pro. It's just not enough. I mean, if, you know, like $300 on Facebook Marketplace, is it worth going through the back and forth and people want to haggle over it, and then you got to lift it and drag it? And, you know, I don't know that anyone's going to be confident buying a 3D printer on Facebook Marketplace because, you know, they're going to have to reset it and they're going to have a ton of questions. Same thing happens with crypto stuff. Selling crypto stuff on Facebook Marketplace is a nightmare because a lot of people will tell me how to do it. Tell me how to operate it. Like, dude, that's your problem, not mine. So go in a Hornet Nest here, maybe do a refresh, move a couple Cobras. Let's check in on the 85M Pro and see what's going on with it. So before checking in on the 85M, I got junk all in the, oh my God, you people are gonna think I'm a slob. Can't have things in the background. Before we check in on the 85M Pro, bit of context. So I was sitting around thinking with my brain, like, all right, what are you doing with the channel, Matt? Well, what are you doing? You doing e-com, Etsy stuff? You doing exposition, Uncle Jesse prints? What are you doing? I like to do a lot of different stuff because, again, you know, when I first started this channel, a lot of the people who've been with me forever probably started because I aim to print things to sell on the internet, and with the idea that I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to fill up my warehouse because I got this great big warehouse, if you're unfamiliar, with 3D printers, and I'm going to be the next dance in 3D prints. And over a very, very short window of time, I kind of realized, like, maybe there's not as much opportunity in 3D printing as I think there is. And I think as the months have progressed, new printers have come out, I've been absorbed and consumed more 3D printing e-com content. It kind of became apparent that, like, you know, that opportunity is not really there. That kind of reinforced a lot of my opinions on that. And looking at other people, I still believe wholeheartedly that as a side hustle, side income sort of thing, choice. As long as you got the right product and you got the right setup and you got the right mindset, some extra walking around money, extra lunch money kind of thing, absolutely positively. I mean, I sold probably 10 Hornet Nests in the past week, and it's a $10 rip per nest, so that's $100. Ugh. For anyone curious, my sort of formula, I'm going to make this up right on the fly. The formula is for if it's meaningful money, and I often talk about meaningful money, if it's worth the time to kind of put in, you know, significant money, things like that. It's probably an equation of whatever your current salary is and how much time you have to put into it. So if you're putting in an extra 40 hours a week on top of your normal job or whatever you do to get, you know, a percentage of what you would get at your normal job, it would just make sense to get a part-time job or something like that. But, you know, if you enjoy doing it, that factors in too. I understand completely. For me personally, like, I lose interest in it if it's not profitable. So the media thing's obviously important here, but, you know, like with the Hornet Nests, 10 per week, that's a lot for me. I mean, I know a lot of Etsy sellers out there are selling a lot of things every day, and they're running ads and things like that, and they're actually putting in the work. I'm not really pushing it that hard. So, you know, over time, that's a significant amount of money, but with the Hornet Nests, it's kind of a different beast versus something like those big, you know, art models I used to print, because those required a lot of post-production, gluing, packing, shipping, etc. Hornet Nest, you take it off the printer, put it in a box and ship it, and it's done. It's $10, so I have to drive it to the post office, but I'm going out anyway. So that's an ideal product for me. The only issue I see is that it's very seasonal. So I'll sell these, continue to sell these for another month or two, maybe, and then it'll fall off, and then it will resume next year, assuming I'm still doing this next year. But you're way off on a tangent, man. So Matt, what are you doing with the channel? So e-com stuff, exhibition prints, because they're cool. Things around the house, I'm always doing those. I'll do those forever. But I thought, you know, what's the next exhibition print? Something fun. And so I thought, what about pan up while I don't look at the camera. This. All right. Pistol squatted up here, one leg, 100%. You didn't see it, but you had to take my word for it. Dummy 13, giant 1300% dummy 13. I think it's 1300%. Someone let me know, did I do it 1300%? So this big exhibition print, it's life size. I wanted to do something else like this, and I thought, my original thought was like, if I can get the Giga operating to proficiency, I can do the largest part of the model, this chest piece here, on the Giga. If I did that at the largest size possible, then I could do probably a 3000% dummy 13. It'd be quite large. It'd be like 12, 15 feet tall. I could put it in the bed of my truck and drive it around, and it would be really funny, and I'd still only get 3,000 views on the video, but it doesn't matter because it would be fun. But since I'm not confident in the Giga, I'm like, okay, well, what can I do that's big and cool and fun, but kind of in the same vibe as Dummy 13? And so that's where I'm printing our next concept. Another thing too, I would really like to get the Flashforge out of this building because it's just like a, it just doesn't do it enough service to, I'm just gonna put these in my pocket. I hope that's okay. You're not gonna know what this is anyway. Don't put your hands on the build. I'm not touching the build plate, shut up. Oh, you didn't run that through a 4-stage dehydrate. No, I didn't. I'll take that. All right, and so what's this? Obviously these are little pieces. It looks like a Dummy 13 skeleton. They're all done in ABS like I did my first Dummy 13. It's actually this model right here. It's the dog for Dummy 13. I thought that'd be great. I'm a dog lover. I got a lot of dogs. I've always had dogs. Dogs are a thing around here. And so I thought, you know, let's give our model his best friend and do one. So this is I can't believe this is a 300% of size Dummy 13 dog. So I did this as the test to see kind of how everything works. Thinking to do his joints, or at least some of the joints like these knee joints or whatever, which had given me a lot of problems in the past. Maybe do these in TPU. It's not that large of a model, and so I've got TPU, and you know, if I was gonna do the 1300% Dummy 13 in joints and TPU, that'd be expensive. That'd be a lot of TPU for these kind of joints, but got this done today. This is the complete skeleton. So I'm gonna piece this together to see what the skeleton looks like, make my adjustments as necessary, and move on from there to printing a large, I guess, life-size example, something that's as big as a normal dog, you know, normal 60, 70 pound dog, like a Labrador or something like that. So that's what's going on there. Looking at the quality and the surface finish here, again, the 85M Pro coming correct. You know, I don't go aggressive on the supports, especially for this, because it was like the test model. So maybe a little sus here on the overhangs for these ball joints. Regular, just auto organic supports, 25% threshold, overhang threshold. So that, because you know, you don't need supports on the inside of here. But overall, looking fine. I mean, you know, I could get a little more crazy about it. 0.2 layer height, so nothing too fine. So I'm gonna pop these apart, piece it together, and see how it looks. Got the skeleton all rigged up here. I actually broke the first piece I grabbed. I broke. Didn't do a lot of infill on this, so I got it glued in place. I'm not going to try to manipulate his head too much, but this is just the skeleton. He has like obviously body panels that go on just like the Dummy 13, but very easy to assemble, not nearly as complex. I can see myself running into the same issues before though, as I did with the Dummy 13. So maybe exploring some options before I go to print this skeleton in full, like doing like a using the modified joints that Roger at Tenmile Creations had sent over to me, just to snap those in a little bit easier. This part gives me a little bit of pause too, because like all the weight is going to be centric on this joint here, because if he's standing up, his weight is going to want to, like, you know, do that number. So I want to make sure I look at that. But overall, real cool model. You know, it'll be a nice little touch, nice little addition. And I'll look for some kind of like mods and things for like modified body panels. So super cool. Maybe working on that. Maybe the next step is printing one a little bit larger, but not like full size, instead of just going for it, you know, because this is 300%. Maybe one at like, I guess like 1,000% would already be hell, I got dogs this big anyway. So cool model. We'll see how it comes out. Another thing I've been working on is that Pantograph that I mentioned in a few videos ago. Kind of slow burn on it because it is a complex thing. So it requires a lot of insets, a lot of heat set inserts and things like that. I've got my MDF board over here. So I've been kind of following the guide that Christian had sent with the model to piece it together. I've got a couple of my stencil-y things here. So I think the only thing I have left to print, I think, are the actual letters to stencil out. I've got all the, where are the bits? Where are the bits? Got the bits here, got my Dremel ready to go. It's just one of the things I was running into is the tolerances on some of these things are really, really tight, and this is kind of an exhibition print. And so in his guide, which is very meticulously done, kudos to him on that, it tells you exactly what print settings to use for a lot of these parts. Me, I'm just kind of like yeeting it because I kind of want to show it working. I'm not trying to use this thing forever. So like the tolerance on the tracing stylus thing is meant to fit into one of the drawing arms here. Meant to fit into one of these drawing arms, and like, again, the tolerance is just, you know, 0. So I'm gonna have to reprint this, and it probably doesn't help that I printed these on 2 separate printers and 2 separate materials. So probably go through and reprint this in just regular PLA just to get this in, because that's really the only holdup that I have left. And then after that, it's all assembly on this piece of MDF. So I'm eager to do that, get that started. You know, I've got my sample aluminum stock that I can etch into. That'd be a cool sort of thing, you know, for if you're into crypto stuff, or just something you want to make sure survives a fire. Might be cool if you're into, you know, like a business card, like an etched business card. You know, I mean, if you got that kind of money, you're probably just paying for ones and not making it yourself. But super cool, a lot of sort of applications that you can go with on that thing. That is indeed what I'm working on today. I'd love to know what you're working on in the comments below, what you think about the Dummy 13 dog as an exhibition print, what your thoughts are on meaningful income. You know, what's worth your while to print and sell on the internet for money, taking into consideration packing it up, taking it to the post office, you know, the cost of the print, the amortization on the printer, your time, if you just have the time anyway, if your time is cheap. You know, what's sort of that thing. You know, I don't expect any people to really share too many details, but it's the internet, you can be anonymous. So you can say, I make 100 grand a year, I make 20,000 on the side profit off my 3D print and sell on the internet business, and to me that's certainly worth it. Or you can say like, well, I know for me personally, if I can get to 50,000 a year in sales or profit, either one, then it would become worth my time, and I'm on that trajectory. I'm going to give it this amount of time to see if it fleshes out before I kind of call it quits, because I think it's important to have a call it quits sort of moment. I think that is a strength, sort of, you know, kind of not subscribing too much to sunken costs on a lot of these things, because I know I've done that dozens of times on dozens of different projects. You just kind of got to understand that the baby's not going to be a Spartan, and you throw them right off the cliff. Probably get a stronger analogy in there. Anyway, let me know what you're working on in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's a nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.